have him on the show near the end there.
But growing up watching him, you never realized he was a partier.
Oh, yeah.
I would have loved
Well, I was on the road with him. I was on the road with him for a week. Well, actually 2 weeks. And I'm still not only telling stories, but sometimes when I'm telling the stories those 2 weeks, a new one. So much happened in 2 weeks because every time he opened his mouth, it was funny.
Yeah, he was a partier.
You want to hear the funniest thing I ever heard him say? He did a show and, blew the house away at the Aladdin, and he comes off and he goes, "Oh, come on, I'm so depressed." I said, "No, wait a minute. How could you blow a room away in Las Vegas? They loved you. You destroyed them for an hour. How could you be depressed?" He goes, "It's like eating a broad. What's in it for me?" Holy crap. I never got used to that. It's like eating a broad. What good is it for me? Is that the greatest? I mean,
that's all right. And he probably meant it, too.
No, there was no irony, no humor. No, he was talking fact.
Wow. That's why I think he was so great in Natural Born Killers, because everybody got this silly side, then you got to see that fucking crazy,
that dark.
Yeah.
He was in Natural Born Killers?
Yeah, he played the father.
He was the father.
Rodney was the father. He was Mallory's father.
Wow,
and the
right.
sitcom.
The abusive father, yeah.
Yeah, go up and take a bath for daddy. It was just
when I was with him, he had just filmed Caddyshack, because in the middle of the Las Vegas run, he had to run to Los Angeles to do the reaction shots. And then I said to him years later, I said, "Jesus Christ, Caddyshack, it looked like you guys snorted coke before every take." He says, "You know why? Because we snorted coke before every take." True story. The other funniest thing he ever said, it's the fact that it's not funny and he's just talking that made him. So when I first went away with him, when I went to meet him in his apartment, I said, "Listen, you just have to know I'm going to laugh every time you open your mouth, and I'm not sucking your cock. You have always been my hero." I didn't say all this to him, but he's always been my hero, and he's funny. That voice it's just fucking funny. And we're in Fort Lauderdale at Easter time, and we're walking along. Now, you know what the beach is like in Fort Lauderdale at Easter time. And he wasn't that crazy famous yet. He had just started doing the Miller Beer commercials. He's like, "Jesus Christ, I've been doing this shit for so long, and now the whole fucking world knows who I am from those stupid commercials." Because you get so much more exposure. It's not Johnny Carson once every 4 months. Right. Right?
Yeah, sure.
But they hadn't really started to hit that much yet. And we're walking along, and there's all these beautiful girls. And he actually said out loud, he turned to me and goes, "Don't you wish you could just fuck anybody you wanted?" I said, "Yes, but I've never thought that was necessary to say it out loud. Don't you wish you could just fuck anybody you wanted?"
Yeah, he reckon Rodney's a weird case, because he made it like he's a guy doing comedy for all these years, and then he drops out and he goes back to his gig and comes back and makes it when he's older. I mean, at least he came back.
It was a classic.
Where did he drop out? What did he go back
I
to?
think he wasn't making it.
He wasn't doing well, and he had a wife and 2 kids that he had to support.
He hit in the 40s.
Aluminum siding.
He sold aluminum siding for 12 years in Jersey.
When did he come back? He came back when he was like 49 or something?
He came back when he was like 40.
Oh, 40, okay.
From 28 to 40, he was out. But you know who reinserted him into show business? And of all the bullshit you've ever heard, King Broder is the guy who reinserted. Do you know who King Broder is?
I know the name.
He's the guy. He's the guy who sued Eddie Murphy. Because he signed up all the comedians. You bet on every horse in the race, and Eddie Murphy.
Right.
And he earned it. But he took Rodney around, and Rodney actually put it in his book. And it's like, and he jumped back in, and he used to say, I got Sullivan before I had no respect.
Was he still? Did he do Sullivan before he dropped out, or after he came back?
I think when he got back, I don't think he did Sullivan before he dropped out, but he didn't have I Get No Respect immediately.
I heard he got that from. I think from George Pips, right? Yeah.
The story with that was that Georgie Starr, who was George from Pips, I guess had a whole thing in his act. He had an act, and he was an Italian, and he insisted on respect. He wanted respect. You got to respect me. And I think Rodney flipped that and said, and he liked the respect angle. So it was one of those gray areas. Mm-hmm. Who took what, or was it fine? And
you guys deal with that gray area a lot.
Oh, there's so much, because that's all there is, and there's nothing new. I don't make any bones. I tell old jokes. People say, "Hey, do you write these?" I say, "I write the lines, and I'm as funny." For 15 years, Howard was reading stuff off the paper that he didn't even pre-read. It's coming out of my head into his mouth. That's not old jokes. That's as fresh as it could fucking be. But I tell old jokes, and they're from everywhere.
And for a long time, people didn't know that Howard was reading your stuff.
And who cared? You know. Well, I didn't care. My whole thing was just pay me. Well, I just want to get paid. I don't want somebody to say, "Hey, you know."
I mean, that's nice of you, but I think most people would care. Like, that.
Well, it's like Carson's writers. He's not going to tell a joke.
Right,
and say,
right.
Hey, Eddie Smith gave me that. Who gives a fuck?
People finally start realizing, which I think. All I'm saying is it must have felt good when people finally start realizing, oh my God, Jackie's feeding a lot of this stuff when the TV show hit, and then you could see you in the corner like doing your thing.
Let me tell you.
I'm not trying to
No.
I'm just trying.
This is all old stuff. But
okay.
In the very beginning, nobody knew Robin was black. I mean, it was so funny. People used to come and say, "I heard Robin is black." Is that true? I mean, this is way in the beginning.
Oh yeah, way.
But I worked for him for free for 3 years, and slowly but surely, I started handing him little pieces of snippets of paper and stuff, and just one day a week, coming in, and I loved it because I was getting promoted. Somebody on NBC AM telling the world where I'm going to be. I mean, that's invaluable. And I used to go on once a week and bring comedians with me. And there was so many comedians that say, "Hey, what's a pay? I'm not coming." And to this day, they're like, "I can't believe
dummies,
I said no."
Right? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we go to mornings, and he says, "I want you to do your thing with the notes." So I'm passing notes, and nobody knows it. And I don't know whether it'd been a month, a year, whatever it'd been. But nobody really knows. It's not that we're hiding it. It's just kind of like a thing that, nobody ever said, "Hey, Robin's black." It's like,
Right.
So
everyone was cool with it.
I think this is the most fun story. So Robin says, "Oh yeah, there's an oldies quiz." And the people from Congress really had a tough time with the oldies quiz because they didn't know the answers, and people thought that the congressmen would know more about the United States. And Howard said, "Well, Robin, give me the rock and roll quiz." So, of course, we're all sitting there, and she starts asking him questions. And as he's asking, we're cheating and giving him the answers. They know, I know oldies, I was a musician, blah, blah, blah. And so she goes, "What are some of the hits by Gary U.S. Bonds?" Now, you guys probably aren't old enough, but Gary U.S. Bonds, who ironically has become a very good friend of mine, had a huge hit in the 60s called Quarter to Three. Don't you know that I dance till 2:45. My mama and daddy G. It's a classic dance song. So she goes, what are some of the songs by Gary U.S. Bonds? And I wrote in digital 2:45 and put it up.
That's funny.
Howard goes, 2:45, and Fred, I got it on tape. You got to hear it. Fred, no! And we start screaming. Robin's screaming. I'm screaming. We're laughing. And Howard's like, "What's going on?" Because he had no fucking idea. "What's going on with it?" And she goes, and Fred goes, "It's 2:45. And he goes, "You jerk." He says, "If you're going to cheat, at least." And I'm, in my mind, I was like, now the whole world knows that I'm writing.
Right.
Nobody had any idea. Nobody put it together. They thought it was just being funny. Is that a classic? Is that a classic?
Ben, man.
Yeah. String of Peloponnes.
Right. Wow.
I did not mean to come in here and hijack the show.
Good, please.
Right.
Come on.
We were honestly, we were having kind of a.
Were you listening to
type
the
show
hour
today,
before you got here?
Yeah, you should have come in at 9.
I don't listen to this shit.
We had both.
March 12th and 13th, New York Comedy Club in Boca Raton, and Morel's on Monday. I got to call Sid. Do you know Sid Rosenberg? I got to call him
I
today.
used to love that guy.
He's a great character. I got to call him because he's in Miami and he's going to
He's
help
the
me
only guy
promote.
that has blown up more spots than me and Ant, so that's why we love the guy.
I actually never, March 12th and 13 in Florida, I would actually go to that, but I'll be in Chicago.
Yeah, I know.
At Zany's, 2 different places. See, I like to whore my plugs too. I just fucking chop them whenever I can. You got it.
Do you work at the Wells Street?
No, I do one night in Vernon Hills and one night in
Wells Street is too small of a club for Jim.
that is in Chicago. What's the other one? Vernon Hills and
Kenny, that
And,
wasn't nice.
St. Charles.
No, it's only 100 seats. It's just
Yeah.
I love Zany's.
I've done that room. I used to love going on a Thursday and doing a show there. It's a fucking great club.
You know that used to be a whorehouse.
No.
You know? Oh, that's a great. It was a whorehouse, and they kept getting busted. So Rick made it a bookstore, a dirty bookstore with, I guess, a rub and tug in the back.
Right.
But Rick got so tired of jumping out the window when the cops came